Okay, we are live. I'm just gonna announce it on X. But before we really start, how you guys doing and how was your game week 36? Erik, do you want to start? Because not much have changed for you.
Yeah, great week. A little bit has not my rank, I guess, hasn't changed,
Oh, exactly.
but Semenyo not going to Shirky was the biggest move of the week, I think. Yeah,
That's a that's a that's a major move that so many managers made, and holy
yeah,
moly, what a bad move it ended up being.
yeah.
Um,
92 points, and I'm so happy Holland did so well the first game after being benched because it just capped off. It was good. Doing the Lacroix move as protection was good, and him getting Defcon in like the final minutes was great. So I'll take that. Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah, apparently
still.
Pep is still Pep.
Yeah, Pep is still Pep. What a Pep roulette! It was.
yeah,
It kind of felt like he was messing with a lot of managers, benching the most. You know, what three of the most popular owned city asset in one game. He was. That's brutal.
For some,
Thomas. Yeah, for some exactly. It went brilliantly for us, Thomas. So can you how did your game week go?
I had a gray arrow basically,
Okay.
which was good based on other teams using chips.
Mm?
Could have went better, I'd say. I got smacked pretty hard by the picture in the background because I don't
Yeah.
own Gabriel or any Arsenal players,
Yeah.
which was well a, a, a tight bet that I knew I was up against. But looking at the numbers from the game, um, it could have really went my way if Mateus Fernandez had scored, or um, well, they had a couple other chances. They had more than one XG, 1.3 or so, and that's not counting the goal they scored that was ruled out. A good game week. I got the minutes right on the Palace assets that we talked about a lot last week.
True. True.
Unfortunately, it didn't pay off again. If we look at how the games played out, like XG wise, it went fine. They performed as what we'd expect from double 90 minutes, around seven expected points. But luck didn't go my way on that part. But all in all, I'm fairly happy with how the game week went. Owning Semenya and Gehi this game week was pretty big
Yeah.
compared to
Massive.
going Turkey and owning O'Reilly, who has been spotted in training and day by the way today, by the way, if you haven't seen.
Yeah,
Um,
I saw it. I saw it.
so
Would
yeah,
you would you two guys be concerned that Sheki was benched and O'Reilly was benched? And would you be concerned to own those two players if they I assume they both play and start in the FA Cup final? Would you be concerned about the Bournemouth game if you were owners of those two?
Erik, you can go.
I think it's a must-win game, but I could imagine Foden starting over Shirky actually, because after he played so well, I could imagine him starting. But at the same time, they have to win, and Bournemouth haven't lost in 16 games, so it's a really hard call. But I think Pep just has to go all out, especially because don't they have like a week break or like 5 days break after that game before the Sunday?
After the Bournemouth game?
After, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I think they have 5 or 6 days or something
So
like
I
that.
think I
They
think
5 days.
they'll all get minutes. Like I think they'll all be involved in the game. I'd be worried about O'Reilly because Guardiola is back and he was so good. And I'm a huge Guardiola fan. but I could see him competing with O'Reilly's minutes. So that could be a 50-50. Shirky, Semenyo, I think they're both in the same boat. Like they could easily, because Semenyo and Foden played so well that they might take up some minutes. And Holland, I think, is just Holland. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
sure.
I can't imagine him getting benched. I think, yeah.
Oh, I doubt Haaland will be benched again.
Yeah.
But to be honest, like also like now it's my team here, but owning any City player in that right now is actually a bit terrible. I think first of all the Bournemouth game is hard. That's one thing. They have the final, and the final is after the deadline, which means that we have
Yeah.
no clue who's firstly gonna play that, and then fairly short turnaround. There can be injuries. Like, oh, if you can avoid playing City assets this game week, like not Haaland, but the others, it's something to consider. I'm not gonna
Okay.
play all three this week, likely.
Yeah. Okay. I wanna talk about that because I've been thinking the same. Because all these uncertainties that you just mentioned, like the deadline is after the final or before the final, sorry, and then they'll play Bournemouth only 3 days later, I think. And imagine the final goes into extra time or something. I my my first initial thought when I looked at my team and Thomas, we all three own Semenyo, was that I was going to bench Semenyo. That was my initial plan, and I still feel fairly certain because it it's such a tough fixture for both team, of course. But it's such a tough fixture, and Semenyo's underlying stats when he's playing on the right wing is really not impressive at all. Um, and now it seemed like he played a new role um, this uh, this game against Palace. So yeah, my initial thought was to only play Gehi and Haaland and then bench Semenyo um, due to the uncertainties.
Yeah, I think it's a tough call. Um, thing about Semenyo is just like he started every single Premier League game since he joined City.
That's fine.
Yeah. I mean, I just see
That's fine.
him. I see him starting. I see him even getting potentially reduced minutes in the FA Cup. Yeah.
But it is hard.
Yeah, it's a hard choice because if you don't have other good options to replace him with, then would you rather have him and risk that, or play a player that you don't like having? You know. So
I think there's going to be a lot of Trossard moves this game week due to this uncertainty.
I mean, we can answer
Yeah,
some questions because
exactly.
we have a lot of Arsenal questions. I mean,
Yeah,
should we?
That,
I mean, the Jokeris plan. What do we think about that?
but what is the Gyökeres plan? He says, should we still proceed with the Gyökeres plan? Is
I I think he's just assuming like just getting Jokeris in general. Is that a shout?
mm,
Yeah.
personally, I think I think he's still his expected minutes is still or his minutes is still a bit risky, I would say. Um, and but if I were really chasing rank, I think he's such a fun punt. If I bought Eucharist, I would probably also captain him, to be honest.
I think that makes. I think it's in my head. I'm like, if you're really chasing rank and your opponents have double or triple Arsenal, that's also where I would go. Yeah, and
yeah.
I
So
think
if
that's a
they're already locked
huge.
into something and you want to chase,
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, I think that's a really good point. I think that's a good shout, and obviously there's a good game coming up now. I think my only concern with Arsenal, and like, so this is from someone who doesn't own any, so I can go anywhere, and I have three free transfers right now. Um, my problem is that I'm not so certain of their minutes, and there is a risk that, like a quite potential risk, that game week 38 means nothing, and they still have a Champions League final. Not that it's like right after, but still, I think if the title is settled in game week 37, I think we will see like a lot of halftime subs, and like it's gonna be very weird that last game. It's gonna be very hard to predict where those subs will end and how. I would be very afraid of Saka. I would be very afraid of Gyökeres. I would also be afraid of Trossard. Eze, Odegaard, they're like every single one of them are like really hard to predict. Calafiori and Hinkepie will probably cover on left back. Like we don't even know if Mascara is going to play the right back then. It's almost only the center backs who are probably going to play because like Hinkepie can cover in there. So Gabriel and Saliba are the most, along with Rhea and Declan Rice probably too, the most certain ones in case this happens. And Rob Tish had some really nice grabs early on Twitter, where it says that it's 60% likely that it's settled before that. Oh no, sorry. Was it or six? It's 60% that they still have something to play for, so 40% that it's settled.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's just a high number if you splash all your free transfers to get Arsenal in.
Yeah, that's also partly
Yeah,
my
it's risky,
concern. I can
but it's
pull
also a
up.
very unpredictable period.
Yeah, but
Come again, Erik?
What?
do we?
Oh, sorry.
You were
Just
saying, Erik?
move on.
Oh, it's just very unpredictable, and I like with every player, you know. So
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, I mean this one is also.
Yeah, this is a great graph.
Yeah, I think this is also why partly I'm leaning towards just rolling, because as we talked about just before the stream, we talked about how we can end up in game week 38 with very few teams actually have something to play for, and it's also very likely that we'll end up in a game week 38 that will be extremely predictable in the case of we have to play our three Arsenal players, our three City players, the Bournemouth assets, and probably the Brighton players, right? Or something like that. So it's but just the uncertainty of game week 38 being a complete shit show really makes me lean towards rolling. Are there any like what would be the case against against rolling? Would that be to kind of like in my head it would only be to chase some sort of rank.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that and Arsenal have their best fixture of the entire season, and are
Sure,
going
but
to for the title.
yeah, sure, but we must assume that a lot, except you, Thomas, have a lot of have two or three Arsenal players. We must assume that 98% of all the viewers have at least two or three Arsenal players. I don't know how you ended up in this situation, but
Yeah,
Let's
that's
not talk
crazy.
about that.
but okay, so yeah, but Thomas, put your in and Erik, put yourself in a position where you at least have two or three Arsenal players, you have three City players, maybe you have a few Brighton, etc. Would you say that people should probably roll, or of course it's team dependent and it depends on how many free transfers and yeah and blah blah blah. But with all these uncertainties, does it just make more sense to just roll it?
I think if you are chasing, you just give it a go now. Like try and get the
Sure.
value now. That, and then you leverage your captaincy into like as extreme risk as you need. to actually get a chance of winning. Also, captaincy call is extremely close this game week.
Yeah.
So I think there's also a few questions, and I'm sure we'll cover that too. But there are quite a few different options you can go for here to try and get an edge in your mini league rival. So like I think some of the best transfers you can make this game week if you want to chase that are not the popular picks like before this game week are definitely the Everton guys. Either go hard in the defense or someone like NDI with the pens. I think it's a great move, and I think Erik also just like mentioned that the Western fixtures are actually pretty good, and you can like chase a bet that that Newcastle don't show up, something like that.
I mean, I think Mavropanos is quite underrated. I think Somerville is going to be very underrated. I also looked at Castellanos, that new striker
Yeah,
that they bought in the winter, because his stats have been quite okay, but also just the striker stats against the Newcastle and Leeds look great. So yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of different players you can go for this week. I think it's a real mess. You can go a lot of different ways. But I agree with Thomas. Like if you have to chase, or if you're playing defense, then I'd make a move to match what you think your opponent's gonna do. Or I don't know. It's a hard call. But if you're chasing, I'd definitely make a transfer now. Is what I'd say. Yeah.
yeah, I think so too.
Sure.
Yeah.
Should we take a question or two?
Yeah, we've had
We can go. I think we can go ham quickly.
I think
Uh,
if there's a few questions around Trossard as well. Maybe we should cover him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First of all, I think I feel pretty certain that he'll start, and I think his minutes are pretty high. It seems like Arteta is doing this running really simple and just playing the same 11 unless any injuries show up. So we have been wide out, and it's likely going to be Mosquera maybe. But other than that, I don't think we'll see many changes. So I think minutes wise and also Trossard's underlying stats offensively these last two games is just brilliant. I think he's averaging what 0.65 or something maybe these last two games, and it's against the low block Burnley. And Trossard, he loves the low blocks. So like if we just look at it like that, I think it's I would love to have him. Let me say it like that. I would love to own him right now.
I think
Does look good.
if I didn't have Saka, I'd go for him. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think like if you're really chasing and you need that different thing and you just need a different kind of magic, that's where you go. Because I think a lot of people are looking at Gyökeres, Gabriel, Saka as like the clear choices. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's a good shout. I agree to.
Honestly, I think he's a better pick than Saka. That's
bold.
I mean, he's
that's
more
bold,
nailed, I'd say.
but let's say okay, let's assume that Trossard he plays. I think and we could even set Trossard's expected minutes low. We could even set it at Saka levels, so around the 70 mark, I would assume. But it just seems like, and with his performances, I mean, if Trossard he plays 90 again, then Saka will likely get subbed off, around 70, 75. He might even get subbed off at 60 if they're leading 4-0 or 3-0. I mean, Saka will get subbed off as soon as the victory is sealed. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I could expect him getting just like they did against Fulham. He shows his spark in the first half, gets subbed off for the second half. Um,
Yeah, and then City don't win, and then he doesn't even start 38. That's not gonna
Yeah.
be a great buy, is it? That's the risk, at least.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
I
Do
think a lot of people are
like I,
going the triple Arsenal route. Yeah.
I have a question for the physiotherapist here. Therapist here.
Mm.
Saka was subbed 80 minutes into the West Ham game.
Mm.
Do you think he only played 80 minutes because they weren't ahead? And what's your guess? Because you had a few words on like how they had actually been very cautious with him,
Yeah.
and that it was all very strict in how to get him back. What's your now you said 70-75 for Saka, but like can you try and elaborate a bit?
I would say so. The way that they've you know managed Saka's minutes has been like very conservative. I think it was something like 45, then 55, and 65, and 75, and then 80-ish. Yeah, or something like that. I think um, honestly, my own point of view was that it looked like just a standard load management protocol, but it wouldn't be out of this world if he had played the full 90 minutes. Like that would be like a pretty standard progression. Normally we see as soon as the player has played like 70, 72, 3 minutes, then the next game is usually the game that they play full time if they're capable of it. So, but it seems like I don't know if they're like super cautious because of I don't know, the Premier League and his history and the World Cup. I don't know, but it looked like just another step in his return to play protocol. Like and then his next game would probably be it would be fine for him to play 90, but will he play 90 against Burnley? That would only be the case, I think, if it's still 0-0 in the 75 minutes. So I think they subbed him off um, due to his load management protocol that they are following. I don't see why they would sub him off. I don't know. Maybe it was some tactical move, but I don't think that. At least that's my point of view.
I mean, I see him, as long as they're winning games, I see him getting subbed out. Because I think they'd rather have him at 1000% for the finals, which is 5 days, 6 days after the Crystal Palace game.
Yeah,
So I think he'll start every game, but as long as they go ahead 2-0, he's going to get subbed out. That's the way I see it.
yeah.
Uh,
I can agree. If it's all said and done, then then he's out.
yeah.
They're not gonna run any
Um,
risk with the Champions League final and the
no,
World Cup
exactly.
coming up. No way, no way.
No, exactly. Um,
Okay, we can just
Gabriel
yeah,
Captain. I don't know if you want to talk about captaincy at all.
Yeah,
yeah,
let's
of
do it. There's
course.
a lot of questions around Saka, Gabriel, Gyökeres, but we also have Bruno and Haaland in that mix, right? And do we even have
Yeah, there's a
more
lot of good
players?
choices.
I think there was a question about
Um,
Bruno G as well for captaincy,
yeah,
if
I
you were
mean,
chasing.
Bruno G is maybe the most differential of all those, I'd say.
Yeah, I think so too.
I'd also say the riskiest because Newcastle technically don't really have anything to play for.
I
And like
don't
even
even
though Bruno
see
G's
it.
been so good this season, Newcastle don't have anything to play for, and he has the World Cup in the summer. So like, I don't
People
know.
need to chill. People need to chill. Like if you're contemplating captaining Bruno G, then you must either be looking to for some quick dopamine hit, or there's so many other good options, and this will be edited out and posted when he scores a banger. But um, I don't see it. I don't see it. But maybe Thomas, you were talking before we went live on captaining Gabriel on your team. Maybe. Do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, so again, back to not owning any Arsenal players is
Yeah.
something I have to probably change this game week. And for me, the like owning 2 Crystal Palace defenders. And I have a money in the bank to go Gabriel and Saliba if I want to. Getting the defenders is probably the play for me. And also, as I mentioned before, I'm very concerned about the attackers for game week 38, especially if City don't win at Bournemouth and Arsenal win against Burnley, which makes me favor like buying defenders right now. And I think like Gabriel, his stats are like insane. Arsenal have amazing defensive stats, not the best, as good recently as they've been on average this season. But that being said, Burnley are looking really bad for scoring goals. And
As always.
I was yeah, and actually even worse than at least in the beginning of the season. And I think that game smells like Arsenal just owning possession all game and not giving any chances for Burnley. So I think it'll be fairly easy to bang a clean sheet. The DEFCON perspectives are not really great for that game, which is a bit bad. But I think there's no clear choice. Like if you look at the models, fantasy tools, Olio review and stuff, like there's a lot of close players, and Saka and Bruno are leading. But I mean, United don't have anything to play for either. And I also think like markets are predicting 3.2 Arsenal goals in this Burnley game. That is like we expect them to win, but 3.2, that's a massive number. Like that's a massive number.
Wow,
and Burnley don't look like, I mean, obviously they don't look good defensively, but they don't look like absolute trash, and they haven't fallen off a cliff after getting relegated. And Arsenal don't look like, apart from the Fulham game was good, but like over like a longer stretch and the entire season, their offensive numbers are not crazy good. So I think that's probably a bit too much juice in the Saka predictions, and also in the Gyökeres predictions or projections, and Trossard for that matter. If you ask me.
Yeah. Saka
I mean, I'm very
seems a bit high.
Yeah. I mean, I think
Go ahead, Erik.
I'm so very. I don't. Holland, it seems like a really scary choice. Like 3 days after Bournemouth. I mean, I can see him scoring, but it's just the minutes just don't seem as safe. Bruno, I just don't like the idea of captaining someone who doesn't have anything to play for. That sounds, yeah, I don't know. Even though Nottingham Forest don't either, and yes, he's chasing an assist record. Like, yes, he might get an assist, but is it worth the captaincy when you have Arsenal against Burnley? Like, for me, I think any Arsenal player, and you can't go wrong this week, is what I'm looking at. Because Burnley look like always like a great place to just harvest points with a good captaincy. Yeah.
But
I mean, we got a question about ranking them. Oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
No, it's just like I think Gabriel for me just seems, and that's from my perspective, just a bit boring. Just a bit, you know, it could easily, I expect a 6-pointer. Like, that would be probably 8 out of 10 games against Burnley, right? It would probably be a 6-pointer. Because very unlikely, I would assume, to get DEFCON against Burnley with the Emirates buzzing and Arsenal just going for scoring as many goals as possible. So it's, I understand it, but personally I just think it's boring. But you know, he might get that offensive haul again.
Yeah,
Could happen.
I mean, I don't think he's gonna get a DEFCON. I mean, he might. You have no idea, but I agree with you on that. But that's like the safest choice, I think. If you're gonna go safest to the safe, you go on Arsenal defender. Like if you just want to like, score points for your captain this week. I think Saka and Gyökeres is like the biggest dopamine hit you can get, because you're like looking at one of the best attacks who just demolished Fulham, had an XG of like 3.2 at home against Fulham, against like a team that's already relegated and have nothing to play for. So I think Gyökeres and Saka look super juiced for like a great game. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, so if we try to rank, like, can we do we all agree that captaining any City players, because we must assume that like a lot of managers will still captain Haaland, just because it's Haaland.
Yeah.
Probably maybe not as many as these like super engaged managers will likely go Saka, Gyökeres, Bruno, Gabriel, but like there's not a chance, right, that you'll captain any City players. Maybe only Thomas should answer, so Erik can keep his cards close to his body. But
No way I'm gonna captain a City player.
yeah, okay, good. So that's sealed. Then should we try and rank them? Who would you rank? Would you both rank Gabriel as the best pick, or just the best safety pick?
I mean, he'd be top 3, I think.
Okay.
Because I think you want safety with a captain. Like you want a player where you think, I think this player's going to show up. And I think Gabriel's like a player where like you'll know he'll play 90, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what scares me with Saka and Gyökeres, is that they could easily go 2-0 ahead. Or like Saka and Gyökeres have had nothing to do with those goals, and they just sub in the other players to have them out. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think Rice is also underrated because he has nailed on minutes as well. Yeah.
I think
Rice, yeah.
like playing out, like it depends what you want, right? If you need like a big haul, you go you go opposite of what you expect your rival to do, obviously. But Saka is obviously, like, he has option of multiple offensive returns, which is good. I think there's another way of doing this is like going triple Arsenal defense and captaining Gabriel. That's also like a way of chasing. So I think you can do both for the chasing part. If we look at like across the season, like Gabriel actually has a bit of a gap to Saka in their expected points in their stats. He has been really good, and Arsenal have looked really good defensively, which also sways bonus in that direction and all sorts of stuff. And Saka's stats, like everyone looks at him and says like he's amazing, but his deliveries is not like FPL return wise.
Yeah.
Are not out of this world.
No.
But I think it's like obviously they are expected to score a lot of goals, but I think it's close.
Yeah. I mean, it could also easily be a game where Arsenal is so much in possession and will get, so many freaking corners that at some point Gabriel is going to show up at the far post.
I mean, another thing for people who want to go Gabriel is, I read that Burnley, I think, is the team that's conceded the most attempts from corners, have conceded the second most at corners in the league, and have most of their Burnley is this team that has let in most goals from corners and set pieces. So that kind of points to defenders. So like anything that like, and that's why like captaining like Saka, and that's like something that scares me a lot, is that like Saka, Gyökeres, Arsenal go 2-0 ahead, they've done nothing, and they get subbed out for Havertz and Eze, for example. Because they don't need to play now. Like they have safe to win. They just need to roll it down to 90 minutes, and we can go further and save our souls for Crystal Palace and the Champions League final. That's what scares me with Gyökeres and them. But at the same time, Gyökeres' 13 out of 14 goals have come against teams in the lower half of the league. So
he loves them. He loves to play against future championship teams.
Yeah, especially ones that don't have anything to play for.
Yeah, But I think that's the best point, Erik. To be honest, I mean the best argument against captaining Saka, Gyökeres, any offensive player is that if they're leading 2 or 3-0, they could. I mean, it's a mess. They could easily just get subbed off,
Yeah.
and so it's. I think that's also an argument for the Gabriel case. I mean, it do make sense. Are we is Bruno not even in the mix here? Home against Forest.
I just hate the fact that he has nothing to play for. That's what ruins it for me.
Same.
Because for me, picking a captain, you want a player that you know will like give everything. And when you have a player that's like him, who's like a tenor, needs his team to be with him, and they have nothing to play for, I mean, how can you play make for goals that don't actually matter? Is what's going through my head. Yeah. And they looked abysmal against Sunderland. They looked so poor. Like Sunderland looked like prime Barcelona at home against Man United. You know what I mean? Like I don't even. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, it's just that FPL Joe writes that Gabriel has 0.27 expected goal involvements against Burnley plus a 63%.
Oh my god. It just sounds so much like a 15-point screamer for Gabriel, And that's what scares me so much, because if he scores a goal and I don't have him captain, I'm going to cry, Yeah.
Okay, so Bruno is also out of... No, sorry.
Yeah, I think
Gyökeres, Saka, or Gabriel are all above Bruno in my book. Yeah.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. I think if you go the Trossard or Gyökeres move and you need to chase, you just slam the captaincy on them.
Yeah, sure.
If you're chasing Saka, Gyökeres, yeah, I think that makes the most sense. There was a question about why so much expected of Everton. I think that's also a good thing to talk about.
Yeah,
go ahead. Why do we rate Everton so highly? Yeah. Should I start?
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, first of all, the games look great. Is the first thing I notice. I mean, also you have Everton that has lots to play for, Sunderland at home, who have nothing to play for, and also have like the 5th worst away goals, expected goals away. So that's not great. And you have Tottenham away. And Tottenham is like a bit of a 50-50 because Tottenham might already be safe while Everton might be pushing Europe. So that might be a good investment for that. Yeah, I really like just the Everton defenders just in general, especially because they just look better than anything else you can pick. I was also really looking at Anderson, but now with the red card, that seems rough. Yeah, but Bassi is also an option. Tete is also an option. Yeah, I just think if you're looking at teams who have lots to play for, Everton is definitely one of those. So that makes it attractive, is what I'm thinking.
And they also have some pretty attractive FPL assets in general, right? Like Ndiaye, like low price penalties. They have some massive DEFCON defenders in Tarkowski and in Keane, and Keane is really good at scoring goals, and apparently Tarkowski has managed to flip his finishing skill around from being like 0.6, like the worst in the league, for anyone who had over 10 xG in the Premier League. I think there's a lot of good stuff about Everton. One thing to note on like having stuff to play for too is like the table is like really close, and I know like there's a lot of teams who can still go for Europe, but also some of the lower teams, like we looked at Crystal Palace as well, and Newcastle too. It's not like, I think if I remember correctly, it's around £3 million per place in the in the Premier League table at the end of the season. It's not insignificant money, like at least to some of the teams. Doesn't mean that they go as hard as Bournemouth and Brighton will go for a European place. But I wouldn't be like. The thing is, we won't know, but we can say for sure, like going into game week 38, that people just or teams will just throw away the games. Just one thing to note:
Yeah.
if you target someone who, like the West Ham game against Leeds, is not a like definite win in 38, for instance.
No.
No.
But also, yeah, I just think Everton is like, when you have all these other assets of all the teams that really look good, then Everton is what you fall to otherwise. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if you own all these other players, where else do I go? And then Everton is like the standout, or like the one that stands out the most of the ones that, after you've had the main ones, I think is the point. Which is why Everton is like mentioned into every single thing we talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like my initial plan was too, that if City didn't win in this double game week and Arsenal was basically the champions now, I would have just went double Everton defense over double Arsenal defense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Can I ask about Thomas, because you also own 3 Chelsea players.
Yeah.
I only own 2, and they have the final against City, and then they play. Who do they play? They play Spurs, right? Spurs
Yeah.
at home.
They play Spurs into Sunderland.
Yeah, I mean, probably decent fixtures, but Chelsea is also a team that, they have something to play for sure, but it's not, let me say, Chelsea worthy to play for. How do you feel about your Chelsea players now? Because I'm really, I think it's a fine fixture, but because we have the cup final, I could be a bit afraid that they might rotate a bit. How do you see it?
Well, now you make me nervous. No, I think they're still in the run for European spots. Like they have to play in Europe.
Okay.
I mean,
I
if
mean,
Do they
Enzo
really?
will play. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I mean,
I
there's a
mean,
whole other risk though, which is if Chelsea actually win, they're guaranteed Europa.
Exactly. So the FA Cup game is kind of in the same, with City in terms of like, okay, they might rotate after the game, and they might, I don't know, fucking be injured or something, right? And
that's true.
and it's an even worse situation, I feel like, with the Chelsea players, because they have, City has everything to play for. Chelsea is like, it would also make sense for them not to be in Europe. I mean, it's what, a Conference League, and they could focus on the Premier League, and build up. I don't know, but if they win the FA Cup, it doesn't look good.
That's true. I'll have to give it a bit more thought, I think.
It's a rough, but it's also, I think this is maybe the hardest week in terms of picking your team and who to play, because there's so much uncertainty with City and Chelsea players, which a lot of people own. But then also
Yeah,
just with like captaincy can go up and down this week, I think. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, yeah, that's
This
why like
is
teams like Brighton look so good, because they have so much to play for, while Leeds are already safe and don't have anything in reality. Those are the kind of teams you want to target. That's why Bournemouth have looked so good, because they have so much to play for. Yeah.
You could even play your Bournemouth players against City. I mean, it's gonna be yeah,
I mean,
Yeah, I'll likely
Senesi
start Tavernier.
something like this.
against. I mean, I think Hill against City looks like the cleanest 4 points I've ever seen.
Yeah, but it could also be a 15-pointer, right?
For sure. Even a -1, like with all own goals he scores.
Yeah, true.
That guy's the most bipolar FPL asset I've ever owned, I think. He'll score me 15 the next week. I have DEFCON captaincy, everything. The next week I'll get -1 because he scored an own goal. That's like, it's the most frustrating pick, I think. It's almost like a gambling dopamine hit. Like either he hits or he doesn't.
He's the perfect player for me. He's the perfect player for me. Have we answered all the questions?
Um,
I think that was like
yeah.
there was a question if you're 150k but would love to make top 100k. That was early in the stream. Would you rather do you think it's better to just play safe still, or go for certain differentials?
Yeah.
No,
That so
a Hail Mary.
depends.
That's a Hail Mary.
Yeah.
That's
What do you,
you
then you have
buy.
to.
No, Erik. Okay, you're rank 1, but let me take this.
Go.
No, okay. I would just say my initial thought was you buy Trossard and you captain him.
Oh no.
That's it.
I go Gyökeres every day of the week.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I
go
mean
Gyökeres
whatever
over
whatever
Trossard.
fits the team, right? Like
Yeah,
in
yeah.
terms of
Yeah,
money
true.
and which players you have. Do you think I should go JP to Gyökeres then?
Well,
Oh, that's
interesting
like
that you-
the dopamine hit, I think. Yeah.
Interesting that you mention it. Yeah.
I mean, what about Thiago? Do you own Thiago? Thomas. No, does that your team there?
Right.
No.
Yeah, I own Thiago. Yeah.
Okay, then I wouldn't. I mean, I would go Thiago over Gyökeres if you didn't own him already. Just because I think that Thiago against Palace looks great, but then also just against Liverpool, who might not have much to play for with the Brentford pushing Europe, also looks great. So I think people are underrating that Liverpool game a lot, because that's one of those games that can be also very lopsided in terms of what to play for.
Yeah.
I like the Gyökeres hit. I like that, Thomas.
I just think that.
And then you captain.
No, but Thomas, you and I, we have 5. You have 5. No, you have 6, and I have 5 players who play in the FA Cup final after deadline. With it's it just
Yeah, and I wasn't even planning on selling any of them.
So I feel pretty certain that Enzo will play almost like no matter what happens. But Joao Pedro, I don't know. Yeah,
Hasn't he played like a lot of minutes?
sure. But it's also a special case, right? If they win the FA Cup, they'll all get shit-faced, and then they won't be able to play, and then they have to play Liam Delap.
I mean, I would, if you didn't own Chelsea assets, I would not go to buy them. I think it's
No.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And if you weren't thinking of starting the Chelsea assets, then that's maybe where I'd go to sell. Yeah.
We have a Simon in the chat now who couldn't join us, but he just joined the chat. Is there anything we haven't talked about? What about Bournemouth players? They're just a keep, right?
If you can bench them, yeah.
Yeah.
And
They
even
look
like if you need to start one, then it's fine too. Like
Yeah.
I think it's better to save a transfer for 38 than selling a Bournemouth player. Like
Yeah.
unless it's like I need to buy Arsenal players.
Yeah. Would you? Okay, we can just answer some questions in the meantime with the last 10 minutes, I guess.
Yeah.
Would you swap JP for Thiago or Dominic Calvert-Lewin for Thiago?
I would swap Dominic Calvert-Lewin for Thiago. I think Thiago has I think it's 2 pretty decent fixtures actually.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd go Calvert-Lewin every day if you can afford it, because I think JP has much more upside than Calvert-Lewin has. I also like Zhao's games more and potential chance of scoring more than I rate Leeds, especially when they have nothing to play for. So, yeah.
Second that. There was questions
Shirky for
about
Ndai.
yeah, exactly.
Oh
I
no,
like it.
Ndai in for Shirky, he said. Oh yeah, that's what he's saying. Yeah.
Yeah, getting a
That's
guy in. Yeah.
that's like maximum dopamine differential hit, I think. Because you're dropping like. Yeah, go ahead, Jeppe.
No, I would still say that Leandro Trossard is yeah. That's.
I think if you have a fragile team, I think Eddie is better. Like, he also has pins, and we know he'll play 38. Did you see the Trossard stuff with the breakup?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But apparently his wife has posted now, and apparently they broke up. I don't know if it's weeks or months ago. So
So maybe that's the reason why he's so good.
or maybe that's the reason why he didn't play so much, because they broke up. I don't know. But maybe he's so good because they broke up. You never know. They have 2 kids though, so
Wow, that's actually pretty insane if you look at his minutes. That's like a dip into right before game week 35. But he's actually had
They've been
decent
separated
minutes
for over a
throughout the
year,
season.
apparently. Okay, damn, says Joe.
Okay, they've been separated for over a year. Okay, holy moly.
Oh well, then we shouldn't account too much for that.
No, probably not.
Best teams to target for a bench boost. Already triple Arsenal defense. What do you guys think?
Best team players to target on bench boost this week.
If you're only looking objectively at the games for 37 and you don't go Arsenal, what are we doing?
No, but like if you want to spend transfers now, that you want to be good, to have a good team this game week, and then you're probably gonna spend transfers that you won't have next week. I think Everton players are obvious.
Yeah.
Everton or Brighton, maybe, if you don't own any.
Could be Brighton too.
I also like West Ham.
West Ham. Yeah.
I also I love Porro a lot.
No. I have 3 Chelsea attackers. Pedro Porro is not going to do anything this week.
All right. Oh, my bad. Oh, yeah, and they play in Stamford Bridge, so what am I saying? Of course.
Thomas, do we have more questions? I was just going, okay, so my goal is to get into the top 100. You can see my team here. 1 million in the bank and 2 free transfers. What would you do? I don't know how many points I have up to. Erik, can you check that while I'm on this? Can you check how many points there is from 131? I think I am.
All right.
You guys are privileged. You can use the overall league.
I mean, 98 has 2,366.
Yeah.
And you have. Yeah, but you're 6 points behind my guy. You can do that.
6 points. Okay. Then
it's nothing.
No. Okay.
You
then
just have to play like.
Yeah. Then I'd probably just roll actually. I think I'm on a roll then. Then I would have 3 free transfers for. Might be a messy game.
What a demon.
And then you bench Tavernier, Hill, and Lacroix?
There's something in me that wants to bench Semenyo.
Oh yeah, we talked about that, yeah.
But
I mean, I would start Hill probably over Tab, I think.
You would?
But that's also like I expect a clean sheet to get wiped instantly. So I don't even know if that's even worth it, you know? No, I think I would start Semenyo over Tav. I think the expected ownership is going to be quite high, that you'd rather have him in than risk him being like than having him not in and him doing well, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah. So you're for me playing Semenyo.
Yeah, as coverage.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a valid argument. Yeah.
You could also go. I don't know if you can afford it. You could even, if you don't like Semenyo, you could look at going Tav to Ndai. And playing Ndai over Semenyo.
I'm not.
But you really like Tav next week.
Yeah. I'm not selling a.
No, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
I think the only sell you have is Lacroix.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and I thought about bringing in Tarkowski or Keane, or Saliba.
Saliba.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but the reason why I'm off any more Arsenal players is that, if it's done, then I don't think they'll play.
I mean, the
You
people
don't think
around
Saliba will play
you.
38, even if they win?
Shit, I don't know. I really don't know who
I
could
mean,
cover there.
the people
Jacob?
around you all own 1, 2,
Mascara, and
3
he's gonna play the
Arsenal.
right back.
No, yeah, and I think maybe if it's the last game, I think maybe Christian Nørgaard would play as a CB, as he's done before for Arsenal.
Yeah, but he's gonna play for Rice.
Yeah,
I mean, a lot of the people around you.
CB's
are
our lowest
moving
load.
now.
You also saw that with Crystal Palace this game week, right? They were the guys playing both games
yeah.
and have played all season.
I
don't
mean
know.
that could also
It's
be a
tough.
buy. Yeah, that could also just be, that would be the easy move, right? Just go like this.
To be honest, yeah, but I think top 100 move, I think Saliba.
Yeah,
You got to go balls to the wall, I think, and I think that's the safest move if you wanna. I'd bet on Arsenal having to play the last game. Yeah.
yeah. Then
Also,
we'll have
because if
two
Sunderland,
free trans. Okay, but let's look at it like this. Let's say the Premier League is set, then I would still have, all my Brighton players 3. I would probably have
I mean,
both my bonus player. That's 5. Both Chelsea players likely, right? 7.
ooh, yeah, and then only you'd be forced to play like 4 players who aren't even, or like at least 2 players who don't even have anything to play for,
But
which
will
is rough.
Bruno maybe play away at Brighton,
You
because
can transfer.
it might be his last game?
What?
No, I have
He
no
wants the
idea.
assist record on 38, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think he's playing every game. I mean, I think Tarkowski Keane move is more differential and maybe safer if you're worried about City not getting the. If you don't think City are gonna beat Bournemouth, I would go Everton, of course. Yeah.
yeah,
But
yeah,
may I just say, if Everton don't beat Sunderland, they have nothing in the last game week.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's also the risk. So you're a little bit lopsided in the choices. Yeah, that's
Lopsided.
rough.
That's such a good word. Lopsided.
That's yeah. Kelleher or Verbruggen for this game week. What do you guys think?
For this game week, I would go for Bruggen.
I would go Kelleher.
Yeah, I go Kelleher as well.
Fair enough. You can either follow the physio or the number 1 ranked in FPL.
I just think Brentford at home with Palace with nothing to play for. I also just see them wanting to rest their players for the Conference League final. I don't see them. I just see them doing the same thing like last time where they did against City, where they just rotate 5 players. That's what I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that compared to, but at the same time, Leeds at home, I think, have more bite than a Palace away. I think that's what I see.
Okay, can I just ask, who would you captain if you couldn't captain an Arsenal player?
Well, that's a hard choice.
Yes, that's a really hard choice.
Probably Bruno, because I'd be worried about Holland. Actually, no, maybe Holland, because they have everything to play for against Bournemouth. So yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd probably captain Haaland as well. There's a comment in the chat about Bruno not blanking since 2021, and I know he's racked up a lot of points, but he has overperformed his stats so much the second half of the season. He's been actually substantially worse than he was pre-Carrick. For his combined expected goals data and DEFCON translated into expected FPL points. So, and with nothing to play for, and well, I mean, Bruno is not bad. Bruno is a good captain, but he is a bit like overrated also by the models, if you ask me.
Speaking of Bruno, this game week here, game week 14 home against West Ham, was the game week that I triple captain him. And then a game week later against Wolves, he made a beautiful 18 pointer. And that's, Erik, why I'm not leading now.
Yeah, you stopped
okay.
taking FPL seriously after that, right?
I
Now
stopped
you're
taking
only
it seriously
131st.
I mean,
No.
what about? I mean, there's a question about the Brighton defenders. I think it's kind of what we talked about earlier. Any team with stuff to play for, they're players to keep.
Yeah,
and I wouldn't even worry about
keep
starting them. If you have triple Brighton defense, I think you could go on risk. You could risk starting two. There is a bit of variance there because if you actually do get the clean sheet, it's amazing. Yeah. Probably not all three.
I think you can start all three.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean,
if you're gonna go for the
I have three, so I'm not planning on starting all of them. But I mean, I wouldn't feel bad doing it. Like Leeds, like not good XG numbers. Brighton have like insanely good defensive numbers recently. I haven't like prepared anything on Brighton, but we've been looking at it for some for a couple of weeks back, and their expected goals conceded has been really top in the second half. So is that, I mean, I would prefer Arsenal, but Brighton is not a bad defensive option at all.
No, I agree.
Also, Keenan Dewsbury Hall or Ndiaye?
Ndiaye.
Yeah. Any day.
Yeah. Any day, yeah.
Yeah, depends.
The models reflect it. He has pens, and I actually think Everton's left wing stats are the most. I was looking at Tom's data with the handling time.
Yeah.
I think actually Everton's left wing have the best position of all the games they're going to play against in the last two. Everton left wing is actually I think the best one you can pick. Everton left wing. Oh, and striker. Striker for Everton looks so good. Yeah. I mean, I'd go Beto if I knew he'd play 90 minutes. Yeah.
I think, yeah. I would, yeah. No, if I were to choose an Everton player, it would just be Ndiaye or one of Tarkowski or Keane, probably. Team dependent. But I think it's time, boys, to round.
Can I go for one last question?
Yeah, sure.
If you want to sell Semenyo, Jeppe, no, bench him. Why not just sell him?
Yeah, and that was, if I were to sell him, then it would probably be for a Trossard move. Because I don't really, or it would be Trossard or NDI. That's my two. Yeah. Any other good ideas though?
Nah, not if
I think
you already own Saka, right?
Yeah.
And what would you play this
I don't
week?
think I can do it either.
You go Verbruggen, Gabriel, Van Heck, Gehi, Saka, Enzo, Bruno, Holland, Zhao. Are you gonna play Welbeck? Do you think?
My plan right now is to play him. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that sounds good as well. I like him against Leeds. I mean, I think the Trossard into an Everton defender move sounds good. I also do like the Ndiaye into Saliba. I would probably go Ndiaye into Saliba if I wanted to play safe. I think actually selling Semenyo was a great idea actually, because his minutes are so like in question when he played 90 against against Palace. But again, like Semenyo was an absolute form beast. You know, I mean, I could still see him still playing 90 against Bournemouth, even if he plays in the FA Cup. Yeah. It's hard. It's rough.
It's very rough.
I like Ndai though.
Yeah, same. But as you said earlier, Erik, Semenyo would also be just to protect, rank. His effective ownership is so high.
Yeah, and that's why I would play him, because I think like when you're so high rank, expected ownership has to come into play. Looking at the top people around you, all of them have like everywhere from 1 to 3 Arsenal, so you don't actually have to go Saliba. If you like Everton more, you can go that, because the people I checked it out, well, like on live FPL, all those people around you, they don't actually have triple Arsenal, so you have a bit of freedom there. It's not a lock, like it's not something you have to do because everyone on the top has it, you know.
Yeah.
Also, quite a few actually have triple Palace. I saw, so they actually look like people you can gain on.
They have
I do like that. Yeah.
triple Palace.
Yeah, I saw like 3
Probably
or 4
gonna
who have
transfer
triple
them,
Palace.
right?
Yeah.
So that's good for you because they have to waste the transfers on them if they have them.
I think honestly, right now, this is the move I like the most when I think about it.
I think that's the safest and the cleanest.
Saliba.
Yeah, Saliba.
That's
Also
what I'd do
because-
as well.
Yeah,
But I think you
Semenyo
should
looks-
consider starting Semenyo though.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I agree.
would probably do that due to, but then I would need to. Okay, then I would play Gabriel, Van Heck, Saliba. Maybe I would bench Gehi actually then.
I think you.
I just think he could so easily play 90 again.
No, he'll for sure play 90. He'll for sure play 90.
You don't think they're gonna get the clean sheet against Bournemouth?
Yeah.
No. I don't think so. But I could also play for
City have looked really, really good defensively.
Yeah, so you
Yeah,
would play
the
him,
la-
you would
I
play
don't really
4.
want.
I would play him for sure, I think.
Okay, so you guys would play 4, so you would play Gabriel.
Haven't
Van Heck,
decided,
so-
but I'll consider it. Yeah.
Okay.
I would probably go. Yeah, I'd go over Bragan with the back four you just said.
Yeah,
Saka, Semenyo, Enzo, Bruno,
yeah.
and then then you only have 2 on the top. But then I would go Holland, Welbeck, over Joao.
Could you? Yeah. Could you bench JP?
I'd either bench either JP or Enzo.
I would
And then
feel, I would honestly feel fine by benching JP.
I would start Gehi over JP, I think.
Okay, yeah.
I see City's like defensive stats have been incredible lately, and I also I watched both of them play against Palace and Brentford, and I just thought, especially when I saw the lineup against Palace, I thought this is not the same team, and yet they were possessed. Like they played so well.
Yeah. I think you're probably right. I mean, this lever move and yeah.
Yeah, lots of choices. It's hard game week.
Thomas, do you want to go through your plans just before we end this up?
I can
Can you?
show what I initially.
Yeah. Do you want to
wanted.
share screen or?
Yeah, I can do that.
I think I have about 10 minutes left.
Sure. Can you see my screen now?
I think we can go through Thomas's team. I think
Yeah.
we can see.
Yeah. I just need to do this. Move mine. Just a sec, Thomas.
Yeah, they were full basketball against Everton. That's true. It was a complete mess against them.
There you go. I think it's on here now, right?
It seems like you can't see Enzo, but I think that's fine. So I have the 2 Crystal Palace guys in defense that I bought last week and had a great X-Men's read on, but didn't pan out as we talked about in the intro. And the simple move is doing this, selling both for Saliba, Gabriel, get double Arsenal defense, and then captain Gabriel. Likely
Okay.
gonna do this. I was considering whether I should. I don't want to sell Tavernier, but I think this would be the beast move, right? And putting Trossard in, but then I'll have to move
Yes.
tonight.
No, Thomas, come on. Live a
I
little.
mean,
I think I think the problem is I don't like selling anyone in my midfield.
Yeah.
And this is I have three free transfers. I should not have three anytime next season because I can say that. And I wouldn't mind going into 38 with two, especially as we talked about. Like if title is gone and everything turns into shit, then two will be nice.
I agree.
I think I'm fairly certain I'll just end here.
I also think like when you haven't doubled down on Arsenal earlier, then I don't think it's tripling up now right before they might not play the last game is the
Exactly.
plan.
And I think these are the only two I can buy that I'm fairly confident will play both of those games, except going Raya. But of course, I'm not going Raya here.
I think, yeah.
I don't like Gehi on the bench, but I'm probably gonna do that. By the way.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean that team looks beautiful. I mean you're completely hedged on 4 teams and Thiago.
Yeah, I don't like all the Chelsea players, but that's just my I have a bad feeling with the FA Cup stuff and their motivations to get into Europe and stuff like that. But that's my point of view.
And Tottenham's defensive stats have also been really good, so it's a bit of a miss. Yeah.
I think you've given me a little bit of food for thought for tomorrow.
But I mean, it is a London derby, right? And that's also something.
Yeah, and Tottenham are always poor in Stamford Bridge, so we have, it might be the call to have the Palace player, the Chelsea players. We don't know.
It would be crazy.
Also, it would be nice with Enzo scoring in my team and not on my bench.
Yes. Yeah, you should probably just do as the FPLPhysio does and just start him with a 1% effective ownership. That was a crazy good goal.
Yeah, there was a fire in the chat at that point.
Yeah. Okay, we got both. Sorry.
If anything, I should put this guy in for one of the Chelsea guys.
Yeah.
I'll just do instead of JP.
Sure.
I like
this
that.
Screams to me that something I like, but if it's wise, I'm not sure.
I mean, if you want to play the variance game, that's the kind of drink I like.
Yeah, you can't see Kadioglu, right? But he's right here.
Yeah. I mean, I love the gamble on the triple Brighton. I think it could be a huge payoff. Just because like Leeds looked fine against Tottenham, but I think it was more Tottenham being poor than Leeds being especially good. Yeah. But they didn't look especially on the beach. I think either. Like, what's the Japanese guy that plays for Leeds? What's
Tanaka?
Yeah, Tanaka.
Yeah, Tanaka. That guy was a demon against Tottenham. I was watching it and he had like 11 DEFCON after 45 minutes or something. It was insane. Yeah.
We got both Rob T and JC in the chat. So but apparently
I think
JC
one thing to note
late.
about the yeah, next time you don't do Central European time either. I think especially for Erik and for all of those who are chasing, listen to the Solio podcast or video on YouTube from yesterday, where James Trout also talked a lot with the other guys as well, about like how to take risk, and also for you, Erik, how to defend against risk, or defend your current spot. There's a lot of good points in there that you can bring into your final 2 game weeks of the season.
Yeah, very, very solid video once again.
We can do the last final questions, and then I think we are good. What do you guys think?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Opinions on Burnley players against Wolves.
This is so much. It speaks to my. This is perfect for me. No, I've not thought about it. I joked about a bit about it on and posted on Rob's post, but I don't think I can see myself going either Burnley or Wolves players, unfortunately.
I mean, I'm considering the role just so I can get Fleming in, I think. Yeah, let's see.
That would be such a ballsy move.
Yeah, and then watch him get a hat trick, and that'll be the cherry on top. Yeah. Would you start DCL if you have Brighton defenders?
No. Yeah, well, if you have to play your Brighton defenders, that is. I would prefer my Brighton defenders over DCL.
Yeah, but I think what he's asking is, would you play DCL while you have Brighton defenders on the team?
Yeah, then no.
I agree.
Probably not.
I mean, obviously it depends on alternatives, but I wouldn't use my only free transfer available to correct it. Then I'd roll it, but yeah. See if you can bench him.
28 points behind mini league is a long shot. I mean, then it's just time to go absolute differential move with the captain and everything.
That's basically just one game week if you captain Trossard.
Yeah. No. I agree. You go quad Arsenal defense or like whatever he can't do in attack and captain.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think that sounds correct. And then the last one.
Anything can happen next week. It's always crazy.
Yeah, 38 will be menace. Will be an absolute disaster. I think it'll be just everything that's happening. I think. Welbeck or Gross?
Personally, I would. I don't know, man. Actually,
I'm sick of the Gross Pasva.
But I would probably go for
so sick.
If I could choose, if I had both, I would probably actually go with Gross goals because of the higher minutes. Welbeck can easily get subbed off around the 70-minute mark, so probably. I think we have to end it pretty soon. I think we're gonna take one last question.
You pick.
Last question, and that'll be how you're feeling, Erik.
It's kind of insane because now I have never led with this much. But the guy with bench boosts is scaring me because he looks like the biggest threat by far. I mean, still being 44 points behind with a bench boost is still quite the margin. If I was 20 points ahead and he had a bench boost, it'd be I'd be a bit more cautious about my position. I am cautious about my position. Yeah, but it's absolutely insane. I can't believe I've been leading since game week 29. Like, what is happening? What is happening? Yeah.
It's really, really crazy, and we're all cheering for you. So fingers crossed, everything. Pray to the FPL gods and take it home.
Yeah, we'll see. There might be some details about a bar in Odense coming soon. We'll see how it goes.
Perfect. Hopefully it's coming home, but it has never been home, so...
Yeah, it's just like the Schmeichel quote. Has it ever been home?
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably not the fora to make jokes with the English national team.
No, probably not. But Erik, you have to promise us one thing. You have to leave FPL a legend if you actually win. As Jeppe has said before, you have to just have this one single account, played one season, overall rank 1, and then just gone.
Leave it. I don't know. Play from your sister's profile or something. Just leave it.
Yeah. No, my family said I should be playing like a consultancy role where I'll just give them tips to their own teams and kind of just rule their teams and tell them what to do. Yeah.
Yeah, you could do that.
Sounds
You
like a
can.
great
There's
plan.
it sounds like something that other people are doing. So there's definitely a business there, especially if you have won the game. So,
Yeah, we
but
can. We'll see. We will
yeah.
see.
Best of luck. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining, both of you. And have a great
Pleasure.
game week. We have deadline tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow
Yes.
Yeah. And there are some price changes happening tonight. I think actually Saliba is increasing in price, so I might have to make the move today if that's the case. But thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, all that, blah blah blah. Leave a comment, and have a great game week.
night.
See you.
See you guys.